Daniel the Miracle Jacobs, Sergio Mora bumping his this weekend. You know what's interesting about Daniel Jacobs to me is that this kid set out on a journey, and no matter what stood in his way, he never allowed anything to stop him from seeing and achieving his vision. And that's one of the things that children can do for you. They will make you see the greatness inside of yourself, and they will also give you the fuel. But before I begin, I'd like to introduce myself for those who have never watched the show. My name is Eric Bradley, and I thank you guys for watching. And right now you're watching Master Boxing. And our agenda is to break the fight world down. And we break it down round by round. So I'll start with Daniel Jacobs, like I was saying. He's an interesting individual. He overcame cancer. And it's just not the simple fact that he overcame cancer, but they lost everything in the process of doing it. Sometimes people look at sports and athletes and they think that they automatically have it easy besides the hard workouts and stuff. But one thing about Daniel Jacobs is he proved inside that he had this unique, in-depth intestinal fortitude. And it's not the kind that you reach and meet in a fight. No matter what fight that Daniel Jacobs or anyone like a Daniel Jacobs has in front of them, they will find a way to be victorious. And that's always a dangerous opponent. And it's not necessarily always in the ring. The things that this guy experienced in a 19-month period, most people would have just taken their own lives instead of consistently fighting for theirs. Because sometimes we all get a little caught up in the way that we are feeling and stop thinking about the agenda above that. And he could see right through that there is something else to do. And he fought and he fought. I've seen people lose their lives and quit the long battle. I've also witnessed loved ones submit to that pain and give up. And that's not an easy thing to see. But to see a person like a Daniel Jacobs take this and not only fight the battle, but become world champion again. On top of that, within a 2-year period, says enough about the cachet of this individual. How can you even question what this guy's capable of doing? Now this weekend he'll be heads up and facing the heralded Sergio Mora. I have a story about Sergio Mora. It's just a second long. I won't get into it too deep. But years ago I was training a guy, my fighter was close friends with the guy, an opponent that Sergio Mora was going against. His name was Les Ralston. So he was also on the Contender a few years ago. But Les Ralston was a heavy puncher. He was sort of like from the olden days, the Max Baer, the Jack Dempsey types. He was a super middleweight, big cocky kid, strong puncher, heavy hitter. Cracked one of my guys so hard one day, man. And the guy took it, and I knew he had a great chin then. I had no questions about him. But Les was a tough guy. He was from New York, and what he did is they went toe to toe. And this was pre the Contender that Sergio Mora won. This was May, I think, 2005. And he got in the ring the fight before he went to the Contender and literally boxed the brakes off of Les Ralston. Because you had to, because Les was a puncher. Now you understand why you have to know how to play matador when you get in the ring against a puncher. Because I had seen Les punch someone front and center. And he's the kind of guy that can punch a hole in the wall. And I'm not figuratively speaking. This kid had pop and explosive power for 168. He was trained by his father, which sometimes is a good thing or a bad thing, because the other skill sets have to be developed. And he got in the ring with Sergio Mora, and you can probably Google that fight or go on the YouTube and see it. But I mean, Sergio Mora boxed beautifully. And it's funny that Sergio Mora doesn't have many more knockouts because he sits down on those punches when he's hitting those guys, but he works to the body well. So he fought this guy, and it was a good fight. But he really handed Les a butt whooping that night. And it was basically, he took him to school. He played the matador while Les just chased him around the ring. Why? Because his father would not teach him how to cut the ring off properly against quality opponents. So, you know, that's the story that I had on Sergio Mora. Now as these two guys line themselves up and go heads up on Saturday night, what do you see? You see someone that's a heralded veteran, and you see an up-and-coming young tiger with boxing skills and power. Now it's time to step up. This guy he's fighting is skilled. Sergio Mora knows how to utilize that ring. Remember, he fought Vernon Forrest. That was no easy dance. Vernon Forrest is the goods. So he's already tested. He won the Contender. The guy has beaten guys that are solid. He's been in the ring with Shane Mosley. He didn't really win that fight. They came out a draw, but he showed there are things that could slow him down. Pop, skills put together can slow him down. Keep him honest. And Daniel Jacobs has those things. Now let's see Saturday night if the young brash champion is ready to take that game to the next level. Because as a human being, he's already won my respect. And as a fighter, needless to say, you have my respect, and I tilt my hat to Daniel Jacobs. And Sergio Mora, this is the time where you say, I put all my chips on the table. What are you going to do on Saturday night? They call me the Fight Doctor, and I thank you guys for watching, because you're watching Master Boxing. And in this sanctity, this is where we break the fight world down, round by round. Shouts out to my boys up in Brooklyn. Brooklyn Fights, the new standard in sports media. Holla at your boy. This is the Fight Doctor signing out. Jacobs, Mora, Saturday night. PBC, free boxing for life. Holla at your boy. Peace.